So, as many of you may know, I am not a fanboy. I am unbiased. And with that said, like, I've been a Spider-Man fan damn near since I was born. And it all started with Tobey Maguire. And, you know, when when I played this game, at first I was like, "Oh my god, this game is so lit." And then like throughout the course of the game, I started to get more and more disappointed with the direction and how the story was being told until the end when I realized that the game was just Web of Shadows 2.0. That's all I got from it. And you know, people are trying to praise this game as usual. I'm gonna be honest with you. I honestly think that Arkham City is still better. And it's not even just that. I think the first game is actually better. Like they were so busy trying to cram so much shit in that they didn't really work on the quality of the game. And with that said, let me get into the story. So the story is very inconsistent. Like it seems like the story heavily favored Miles as Spider-Man over Peter Parker. Like Peter Parker was not himself in this game. He was so much better in the first game, but like in this game, he's not himself. Like he's constantly taking his mask off and all that. It's ridiculous. It's like watching Tom Holland all over again, but whatever. So, see, this was my biggest problem. And there was the two Spider-Man thing. There shouldn't have been two Spider-Man. Should have just been one. But again, this is just one of the main factors of trying to cram so much stuff in and still working on the quality of the game. Because, as I said, like, they don't have anything to go off of with Miles Morales. So they they have to find some way to get him involved. And oh my God, they really got him involved. So, you know, throughout the game, there's a lot of moments where Peter is just so weak and he just constantly needs help. This is a character who was originally the biggest thing. See, one of the biggest things that we, criticized Tom Holland Spider-Man about was the fact that he was very dependent on other people when Spider-Man, the character himself, is independent, which makes him so unique. And again, another thing that makes him unique is that it's just one. But to have two of them and to make Peter so, dependent of others in this game is just ridiculous. Like there were so many times where Peter had to be saved by all the other characters. He had to be saved by Miles. He had to be saved by Wraith. He had to be saved by Harry. It was so ridiculous, bro. And like another thing is that like it's not even just that like you know I was playing the game and at first I was enjoying the Peter Parker parts, and then it would force you to play as Miles, and it felt like filler. That's all it felt like he literally had no place in the game. And but besides that, it's not until later in the game that's when nonsense started to roll in. So Miles beats Symbiote Peter. And it's not even just that he beats Symbiote Peter, but it's Miles who convinces Peter to take off the suit. And I'm like, bro, this is a huge blow to Peter's character because Peter has always been mentally strong enough to take out the suit himself. But for him to need Miles for damn near everything in this fucking game is ridiculous. Like, oh my God. So back to the thing, so as I said in one video before, we've already seen how Peter Parker handles these situations and all that nonsense. But in this game, he can't really handle those situations on his own. He's always dependent on others when usually it's always him himself who gets himself out of these situations. Like he never needed Miles Morales to take off the symbiote suit. He never needed anyone. It wasn't until, well, at first it was because he realized that the suit was alive, but later on, it wasn't until he realized his actions that he took off the suit. And like, we have to deal with this now. It's not even just that. See, so when you have Mr. Negative and Venom in the same game, you're going to be expecting anti venom, and they bring in anti venom, but not the actual anti venom, but more of a suit for Peter, and that suit is so fucking ugly, bro. But aside from that, like, you know, if people know anything about, see, honestly, I think that it's more people who don't really know anything about these characters who play the game compared to people who do know something about these characters, because the anti-venom symbiote is supposed to be stronger than Carnage, but even Peter with that suit still lost. Damn, that suit ugly. But anyway, he still lost. And it's not even just that. Like, Miles Morales put up more of a fight with Venom than Peter did. And again, Peter had on the anti-venom suit. That was ridiculous, bro. It was so fucking stupid. And it's not even just that. Like, when they get the Venom suit off Harry, he's unconscious and shit. And I'm like, Peter, you're wearing the anti-venom suit. You can cure his disease. That's what anti-venom can do. But instead of doing that, instead of even having the ability to cure disease, uh, they have to make Miles Morales useful again. So here he comes. You're like, wait, let me use my venom powers to bring him back to consciousness so that you can be forever and dead to me, because, I had to have a reason to be here. And that's just what happens. And I'm like, bro, was this game meant more for people who don't know shit about these characters? Because another thing is that MJ is not Scream. Bro, they brought back the MJ missions, and that was so fucking stupid, bro. It's not even just that. Like, they try to back up MJ being able to do what she can do by saying that she trained with Sable and some Karya. But like, what's the point of adding that in when in the first game she was sneaking around armed camps taking pictures and shit like she's Black Cat? It was so stupid. But anyway, oh my gosh. Anyways, as I was saying, aside from the Scream thing, like, Peter was fighting Scream, and uh she was saying some really personal shit, and then it just made me question, like, is that Scream saying all this, or is that MJ saying all this? Because it was really personal. But whatever. Aside from that, you know, as I said that Peter had to be saved by so many he had to be very dependent in this game. Like, let's go back to when Ray saved him. So they brought in Cletus Cassidy. They tried to change his name like it wasn't going to be noticeable from the jump as Cletus, but whatever. But yeah, they tried to, he made this whole attempt to get, the Carnage symbiote, which he does. And I'm like, is that symbiote even the offspring of Venom? Whatever. But yeah, just know that he gets a symbiote and we don't get Carnage. And I'm like, how is this going to work? Because Carnage is supposed to be the perfect symbiosis. He's supposed to be stronger than Venom. And he's not in this game. Like, are we going to get this symbiote shit again? Because I really don't like it. But that's the last time you see Carnage. And, it's not even just that. A train that's on, I can't remember if it was a train or I think it was a train car. It was on top of Peter, and he needed help from Wraith. He was finna get burnt alive, even though, like, bro, if they didn't take away all the gadgets from the first game, Peter wouldn't have needed help in the first fucking place. And that's another problem I have. Like, bro, combat was so handicapped in this game. Like, damn near all the gadgets were missing. The abilities, they were non-existent. Like the cooldown for them was outrageous, and there was nothing I can't remember, but yeah, like bro, like Peter is in these situations that he could pull off on his own, but they took away so much stuff from him compared to what he had in the first game, forcing him to need help. And it's not even just that. Again, I felt so handicapped in combat. Like, one of my favorite moves was the perfect dodge on gunmen, and then you could just instantly knock them out just like that. But that's gone. They took that out. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But whatever. Aside from that, in the actual story, this man Craven, he's amped up by 1,000. Spider-Man literally needed the symbiote to beat Craven, and that was insane to me. But let me actually talk about the symbiote. Honestly, I didn't really get much from it gameplay wise. The only thing that I actually did get from it was the abilities, and that was it. Other than that, you don't really get anything else with it. Just a look and new abilities, and that's it. That's all. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed, but whatever. Anyways, so when you actually get the symbiote arc, uh, it's just a casual, symbiote storyline, all this nonsense, and later on, he starts to get more aggressive. Like, if there's anything, the late symbiote arc, it just felt rushed, especially with Venom. Venom felt like he was there just to be there. And that leads to another thing I'm going to say. They're not really making quality stories anymore or quality products. They're just trying to cram as much stuff in as possible. They're trying to put the biggest villains and heroes in just in an attempt to make money. And like that's the reason why we have these stories now with Spider-Man. Like, you know, remember Across the Spider-Verse, I said there was Edge of Time, Edge of Time, starring Miles Morales. And with this game, it's Web of Shadows, starring Peter Parker and Miles Morales. And I wasn't feeling it, especially with Venom. Venom was literally just there just to be there. If there's anything about Venom and the symbiotes, it's just that Venom triggers Peter Parker's spider sense on top of the fact that he was walking through fire. And I'm like, what is going on here? And again, like this is how it should went. They should took the Arkham approach and, you know, had Peter be the main focus. And, you go against Craven, then you go against Venom, and then you, Venom, and Miles all team up against Carnage. That's how the story should went. But instead, they made Venom the most generic villain ever. He's like, I want to heal the world, but in translation, he means I want to take over the world with symbiotes. And I'm like, bro, that is so fucking generic. Like, what's the point of this villain? Like, what's the point of Venom even being here? Like, they literally had nothing to go off of. Like, you can tell that this needed to be thrown out there. That's all I could get from it. It was so weak. Like, you could have did so much better, but instead, like, as I said, instead of making a quality product, they just want to throw shit out there. you know, when I finished playing the first game, I thought to myself, like, oh my God, I can't wait to see where this universe is going to go. Then after playing this game, like, I'm not even interested anymore. And then they want to bring in all these damn Spider-Man in this universe. They try to get Silk in the post-credit scene. I'm like, bro, I am so sick of all these damn Spider-Man and this multiverse nonsense. Can we just go to plain average Spider-Man without all this other shit? And, this is what we have to deal with now. We're not getting quality products or anything. We're just getting stories from a very recent, not so long ago Spider-Man story, and it's just being thrown to here, and like it's nothing new to it, bro. Like I am so sick of multiple Spider-Man, this multiverse bullshit, and I am sick of that stupid ass meme where they're pointing at each other. Like it's so stupid. That meme was not funny, by the way. Now, when Into the Spider-Verse did, it was pretty cool. But when they kept bringing it back, it was so fucking stupid by then. Oh my gosh. Sony knows that they have power and they are using it. These dumbass fanboys, they're not going to catch on to anything. As long as Spider-Man's in the title, they don't care. Oh my gosh. There's a few more things I want to bring up that I forgot. So with these MJ missions, there's this one MJ mission where she goes into a symbiote hive or whatever, and she's killing symbiotes left and right easily with her little sonar gun or whatever. And I'm like, this is the most dumbest shit I ever seen. She literally went against a brute and she beat a brute easier than Peter and Miles. It was so fucking stupid. And another gripe I have is that in these boss fights, why the hell do I fight these bosses so many fucking times? It's so fucking ridiculous. And another thing is that like I don't really like this parry thing. I like it better when Spider-Man is dodging shit and all that. But they added this parry thing, and like sometimes an enemy is going to do something where you have to parry him, and like if you don't parry him, you have to be out of his range, because when you don't parry him, he's going to let off a shock wave, and it's so fucking stupid because it makes no sense whatsoever. So you're forced to parry. Like there's a lot of things I don't like about this game. Another thing is that like when you beat the game, there's literally nothing to do. In the first game, you could replay hideouts and all that, but in this game, like once you do everything, there's nothing to do, nothing. And that goes back to what I said. This game has no quality. It has a whole lot of features, but no quality, and that's it. Just a whole lot of shit crammed in with no quality, and I'm not feeling any of that. Like I'm right now. I am literally re-downloading the first game to play that shit again. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. This game should have been so much better. They should see. Honestly, I don't blame the developers. I blame Sony because they are notorious for trying to throw so much shit in just to make money. Oh my gosh, like take out the two Spider-Man thing, take out Venom, take out all this other shit, and this game will be so much better. Why? Because there will be more quality to it instead of all this other nonsense. Oh my gosh. So I think I got everything off my chest. I know that there's a few details about the story that I'm obviously missing, but besides that, like everything that I listed is pretty much everything I could think of. Again, like one of my biggest problems is that Peter Parker was not himself in this game compared to the first. He was very underwhelming, if you ask me. And rest in peace, Independent Spider-Man. We had this multiverse shit going on now that makes no sense. But, anyways, like I don't like this story. The only thing I like about this game is the traversal, and that's it. I don't like the combat. It's a lot of things I don't like. Another thing that I want to bring up is those little Craven dogs. They use these little things where you can't use your abilities and all that. And like I don't understand like how does this work on the symbiote? That makes no sense, but whatever. But aside from that, like those last suits that you get from the story are ugly as fuck. The anti-venom suit that Miles Morales, where he has his hair out, that shit is so ugly. Like you could did so much better, especially with that anti-venom suit. Like for a second, I thought it was a Future Foundation suit, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? And then like I realized that's that ugly ass Anvil suit, and I'm like, bro, you could took inspiration from that Edge of Time anti venom or that Ghost Spider suit that you had in the first game. Like you could took inspiration from those, but instead you didn't. You just made that ugly ass suit, and there's so many ugly ass suits, bro. Like I didn't even waste my time buying the deluxe edition or anything. That Venom statue is overrated, by the way. But anyways, I will say that I liked the team ups that you have and the crime shit, but that's about it. Like the whole thing I actually liked about this game over the first game was the traversal, and that's about it, bro. There's some features that are great, but like the game overall is very underwhelming. It's not great. It could have been better again. But besides that, for now, that's all I have to say.